Welcome back to part 2 of the making or the forging of our straight peen hammer. Now on our straight peen hammer, we have already completed the rough forging portion. We got our touch mark and our number 1. Seeing as how this is the actual first hammer that Eli and I have made together. And so we've got that ready to go for the grinding. We'll grind our straight peen down, also grind the face. We'll do some other cleanup and other grinding on it, and then we'll get it ready for the heat treat. Once we've heat treated it and we've completed all that, then we'll put on this hickory handle that we have kind of whittled down and sanded down, ready for us to put it inside the eye of the hammer. Once we do that, we'll put the wedge in, we'll put a final finish on it, we'll have ourselves a straight peen hammer. Stick around. To do our grinding, we're going to start off with the large grinding disc or grinding wheel, and we'll get some of the major surfaces ground down, then we'll work our way into the flapper disc, and finally over at the belt sander and the buffer. We're pretty happy with how everything turned out, and we're ready now for the heat treating process. Now, this hammer billet has already been annealed, so there's not a necessity to go through 3 cycles of normaling, but we will slowly bring it up and we will let it cool down just a little bit so that we don't automatically stress it. Now, again, I know that there are 100 different ways to do the heat treating. This is 4140. We know the numbers to do. We're going to do that in the propane forge and the gas forge so we can keep an eye on it. We want to try to heat it as evenly as possible. So we'll be able to keep a good eye on it and keep rotating it, backing down the heat, just kind of bringing it up slowly to heat, and then we will quench it in oil. Again, it's 4140, quenches in oil. So let's get that process started. hammer is out of the hardening oil and it's cooled down a little bit. We did soak it in some vinegar to try to pop some of the scale off. Worked pretty good. So now we're going to put it in the toaster oven. We've got it set to a little over 400 degrees, and we'll put it in there for about 45 minutes. Now that our hammer billet is tempered and we've got pretty much a final grind on it, we'll do a buff on it later. We are ready to put this on a handle and get ready to use it. We have our hickory handle and we're going to try to do a fit up on it. As we do the fit up, we'll probably have to make some slight adjustments to the top here with either some sanding or a rasp or something like that. But anyway, once we get that all fit up, we'll get that driven in there, put the wedge in it, and then we'll color it up and finish it. Next step in the process, we'll put in the wood wedge, put a little bit of glue on either side of it, drive that down in. So the hammer is handled, and we're going to put just a little light char on this that'll help protect the handle, and we'll put a little bit of linseed oil all over the hammer and over the handle as well, just to soak it in, let it protect it. Well, there you go. The very first Bar Run Forge official hammer. Eli and I have completed this. We're so excited to have it done. And look, this is all us, and we just absolutely love it. This is a handmade hickory handle that we made from hickory that we had. This is stock that we had, all hand forged. And we've got a really nice straight peen. We're excited about the opportunity to use it. And it's complete. It's ready to use. We're going to let it sit and just let all the oil soak in and everything, make sure it's protected. We're pretty confident in all the heat treating processes that we went through. No, we didn't go through all that and explain everything to you guys. There are tons of heat treating videos out there and how to heat treat different kinds of metal. You guys can look that up if you want to. But we went through the process that we knew of, and we have come up with this straight peen hammer, and we're so happy to have it. We're happy to have this in our arsenal. We've got the rounding hammers, we've got the cross peens in different ways. This is a hammer we've been looking forward to having, and now it's here, and we're excited to use it. But it does bring us, as you guys are going to want to know, we've done now 2 videos on this hammer, and we want to know how that connects with what God has to say in His Word. In Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 29, it says this. God speaking says, "Is not my word like fire, declares the Lord, and like a hammer that breaks a rock in pieces?" And so what we want to look at, this is not a rock-breaking hammer, but the purpose here, the idea here is to focus on God's Word. God's Word is like a fire. It's in Hebrews, it tells us it's living and active. It's sharper than a double-edged sword. It divides soul and spirit, joints and marrow. That's God's Word. And it has such power that it can do, in God's terms, small things like break rocks in pieces. We can do that with hammers that we make, but God's Word has such an effect. It is so powerful that it is beyond breaking rocks and bending metal and things like that. God's Word is the power that we must rely on. Thank you guys so much for coming in. We enjoyed having you as a part of this process. We're excited to use this hammer, and we're always excited to have you guys in. Make sure you look forward to all our videos that come out. We have a Tuesday morning tool video, just like you're watching right now, as well as our Thursday night live streams, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also have some other videos coming out. Just make sure you go and do all the things that you're supposed to do, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, and God bless.